Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, man.
Way to start that.
Everybody was sort of quiet, almost like I'm about to open up with a bit, and right as that happens, I get a big, sort of like, back soreness. I'm sorry, it wasn't material.
What a great open. Hello, everybody. Silence, and then just, oh.
Oh man.
I thought for sure Will was gonna go into like a starting an introduction.
Yeah.
You know.
No, that's what I thought, but I was kind of hoping that he would just rip a massive fart.
That's what I thought it was going to turn into, right? Because you just started to get the lean forward and everything.
So my name is Will. There's shit wrong with my body, and I actually do have something. I was thinking we needed to open these with like a little bit more method and direction.
That is not our way. We're so bad at that.
Yeah, but you know what? This is how we find out if it works or not.
Yeah.
Man.
I have a clipboard. Y'all ready to do this? Or is there any further meaning that anybody wants to earmark before we do the thing where everybody listens to me and then we pretend to be wizards and shit?
I have to delete this message because the Ken doll's face is kind of distracting me.
Ken doll posted in chat before we go live is now staring into your soul.
Yep. No, I got.
Uh-oh. Okay.
You can look that up on the news, folks. And by the news, I mean the Google.
I think my internet had a hiccup, so it like completely cut out what you just said.
That's alright, it was a flub joke anyways. Let's start this shit. Y'all ready?
Yes. Hit me with it.
Hit me, baby.
So anybody on Twitch and chat or YouTube in the comments, let me know if you need this to be more or less horny or gone altogether. I imagine that might be a popular one. The city squabbling and chatter and the company of the main road have faded. The so-called wilds in the country, pastures of calm cattle, ordered and human-infested foresters' woods, gone is their silence. Here, where civilization came and left decades past, there is company, like the main road. Convoys of caribou, the civil bustle of squirrels and songbirds. In this natural magical logic, Reggie from the naval metropolis of Bloodwine Keep had never truly been to the city. With insomnia-stricken trunk reading by candlelight inside and Corvone watch, Reggie was the only other person awake. He was fully transfixed. The wilds had called him forever, but now he was tempted to answer. A sliver of silvery moon and brilliant stars formed a painted night over the silhouetted trees. The stars, however, had abandoned Reggie. Instead, he was transfixed by the symphony of nighttime society and the brilliant and clever dark cloak they all share. Welcome to Bloodwine.
Woo!
I like it. You should write a book.
Yeah. You should write an entire book on how to play Bloodwine.
We all know exactly how long that's taking. So yeah, Reggie, you're outside.
Transfixed.
Transfixed by the rot. Obsessed with the rot. I must know what the Rot King is. So I'm outside in the forest, as one would assume.
Just a little ways away from the warehouse so that Corvo can keep an eye on you.
I need to find more evidence of just the rot, because so far we only found the one. We only found the deer. I need to find more evidence of the rot, or just go back.
It's the middle of the night, though.
Hard to find evidence of rot. I will instead just try and get in touch with my druid roots.
Your druids?
And try and call upon the plants. See if I can grow something. I'm
All right,
trying to
go for
remember
it.
what my dad taught me.
You're all pep.
Yep.
Roll for pep.
I rolled a 6 for pep.
Mental pep.
Mental pep.
Pet, pet.
So you sit there, you're trying to relearn the things that you've kind of half forgotten from growing up, and you lean down, you put your hands on the soil, and you try to feel and make things grow. You're not sure what the dirt feels like. It feels like dirt. The forest looks like a forest. You're focusing really hard, and you don't see anything happening, but as you look up, you see that the branches of the trees have kind of pulled and twisted aside gently, sort of interlocking with a gust of wind. They form a loose kind of archway, and inside you just see brush and trees.
Okay. Reggie's satisfied with that. I feel like he would be okay. He's still obsessed. Maybe he'll take one quick peek at the rotting deer before he goes back in. But that's about it.
The rotting deer is a little ways up the path. You walk up to it, and by the time you get back to it, it's gone as far as you can tell. There's kind of like a lumpy space where obviously this is all that's left of the body, but it's kind of reintegrated with the dirt itself for the most part.
Okay. I need to discover what this is.
Rotting deer.
I need to get to the bottom of this. I'm gonna go back to the house in order to get see if there's literally anything anyone's thought of anything, but they're probably all tired of me ranting about freaking Rot King.
It's also the middle of the night.
Well, if you're trying to get to the bottom of a rotting deer, I recommend using gloves.
So you wander back into the warehouse. You move past the set of double doors that you use to bring all your gear in. There's just a little kind of side door that you creak and open. Inside, there's people splayed about. Nobody's really doing much. Corvo, you see, is like up top in the mezzanine, was keeping an eye on you as you were coming back in. You see the trunk nearby is just next to sort of like a candle, reading a book by candlelight.
Some more drastic measures might need to be taken. I might really...
It is the middle of the night.
It is the middle of the night.
Everybody's sleeping.
I'm not talking about like waking everyone up and being like, "Hey, does anyone know anything about the Rock King?"
You had already kind of done that earlier.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're not planning on doing that, because I promised Will this would not be a PvP session.
But I could just sneak out. If Corvo doesn't see me. I might do that. Maybe. I don't know.
Haven't decided.
Haven't decided.
Not sure how committed you are to this Rot King.
I'm so obsessive. Ugh. I'll go out in the morning.
So, yeah, you're sort of sitting there, like, your brow furrowed. You're kind of just staring at the door behind you for a while, and then you turn back inside, and when you do, you see the trunk sort of, like, done that very, like, couch daddy thing, where he's, like, put the book down sort of on his chest, and he goes, "You all right there, bud?"
I just don't understand why I can't let this go. It's just something about it.
Sit down. And he goes and he takes a little feather, puts it in the book, and he puts it down very gently, and he goes,
Out of curiosity, what's Trunk reading?
do you read Torgish?
No.
Can't read shit.
Damn it.
So he speaks to you in an inappropriate volume for this time of night and goes, Come on, we should come close so we can speak quietly.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'll go and sit next to Trunk. And just kind of be like, it's something about it. Something just, there was a pull, alright? And it's hard to describe because it's magic. I know it's magic. And it did say Rot King. I know it said Rot King.
Well, you saw what you saw, so why don't you tell me to the best of your ability what you saw? And as you're saying that, and as Trunk is like talking at full volume, because he can't really tell.
He doesn't know what whisper is.
Yeah. There's a couple of people who are sort of like, you know when you're sleeping in a room with like a whole bunch of people for whatever reason, be it like summer camp or something, like there's a bunch of people who just kind of like, they're half asleep and they just like... and they roll back over and kind of like turn themselves away.
Well, it was just, I was walking, I stumbled upon it, and like, I stumbled upon the deer. The deer said Rot King to me. I know it said it. And then there's just this hunger every single time I look at it. There's something about it. And I don't know what it is.
And how has this been making you feel?
Reggie just like Reggie genuinely is pondering like how this makes him feel.
And Trunk leans in. It doesn't reduce the volume. And this is the line that wakes up Henny and Vesta. Not with a jolt or anything. You just kind of like come to and hear a few vestiges of sentence as you're kind of getting awake again. And he goes, well, you're new to doing druid magic, right?
Yeah.
And you didn't do it growing up or anything.
I mean, my dad tried to teach me.
But it didn't go so good?
I mean, you tried talking to plants? It's not exactly the most interesting thing. And the plants are terrible conversationalists.
Well, are you talking to them or are you listening?
Like, Reggie genuinely just squints maximum level and goes, lately, I think it's been both.
Well, that's almost a conversation. Because you need three things. You need to be talking, you need to be listening, and you know the last one? And he gives you another, like almost like a teacher stare, like a, you know the last one?
You need to be going the fuck to sleep! For God's sake, it's 3 a.m. Take it outside!
Understanding. I believe those understanding.
I was going to go with, then he gestures up to Henny and goes, communicating. And he gestures for the door back outside.
Yeah, fair enough. Should probably just, take this outside.
Poor Henny.
It's a little unfair considering she can get drunk and start banging on things at 3 a.m, but the moment I just start having a mental breakdown.
So, Vesta and Henny, both of you guys have like the sensory sensitivity stuff. So like, as Reggie goes outside and they go to what would be a perfectly normal and civil and reasonable distance away to continue this conversation, you can hear everything.
Nice.
So what were you saying?
I believe I was insulting Henny.
You up to dark.
I would say something about saying it to her face, but let's be real, there's precedent. You're willing.
I'd say it to her mask, but she took those off.
Ooh. Say it to your wife, but she took off.
Oh.
Oh! Oh! Ah! Fuck! I didn't realize
So
that.
Ken heard that. I heard that, but Reggie and Trunk both didn't hear that. And at the comment about what was it that Reggie had just said that?
I'll say it
I
to her
got
mask,
distracted.
but
That was a
took
good jab.
That was a good fucking jab. Like, fuck, I didn't realize Henny took points in mental burn.
She doesn't, but she has a +9 to any mental roll. So
All right, yeah, it did say it to her mask, but she took those off. Fuck.
Trunk goes, well, I'm not complaining. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Listen?
I mean, not necessarily.
And denoting that, as you guys sort of head outside, Trunk does take out. He's not a mage, but like a lot of people, he's able to just sort of get a spark out to light the area. You notice that he's making sure that he can always see your face when you're talking.
Yeah.
So what were we talking about?
I don't know. I need to discover more about this. And the only way I know how to do that is to immerse myself in the forest. I need to understand the forest if I'm going to understand what this Rock King is.
And did you do that when you were young, too?
God, no. It's torture. Are you kidding me? Some druids can't survive. Some fake it. I know one guy who, went into the forest and they found him in the village and over. He didn't go so well. Safe to say, he's not a druid. But
Trunk sort of looks around and he goes, well, if that's your decision, that's your decision, but maybe talk to Elmira first. She's a druid. Not a mage, but a druid.
Elmira's a druid?
Yeah.
Wait.
She doesn't talk about growing up much. Like you said. Torture.
Which, is she Grove or Henge?
Just, culturally. Neither.
Oh, fair enough. That might be a good idea.
Anyways, I'd tell you more, but not my beans to spill.
That's fair.
That being said, it is kind of nice, well, I guess it's kind of nice, being outside, just somewhere calm, quiet, looking at the stars and stuff. That's good for the health.
It's a way to get ahead on.
Yeah, more isolated, and smart people need to research stuff, and I guess that if any time's going to be the time, it's now. You've probably got 9 days to spare.
That's not a bad plan. Not like I can help much with the looking at maps and stuff.
As long as you make the decision that's right for you in the end.
With that, Reggie's just gonna nod and just go, think we should probably head back inside. About bedtime.
Alright. And he gives you, again, big dad energy. Like a double back pat, like a classic, kind of thing.
Do I even feel it through the shell? Okay, cool. I will take my dad pat.
I know that Trunk is big friendly boy, but he is also a green torque. He's 7 feet tall and all muscle.
That's true. We are the same size. It is equivalent sizes whacking each other. It's just, I don't have feeling in my shell, but I can still feel the thunk.
It's like feeling when something hits a shield.
It's like someone patting you on the back, but you have a backpack.
Yeah, patting you on the backpack.
Yeah.
It's an unstoppable comfort versus immovable grief.
And on that oof, Reggie, you head back inside. Trunk sort of like leans in and he goes, I'm not going to be able to sleep for a bit. And he goes back over to keep reading the book.
That's fair. I'll probably go over and... I have insomnia too, so I'm probably lying awake as well, just being like... I didn't realize Elmira was a druid. Just going through all those facts and just like basically just mentally prepping myself.
Yeah, you kind of just sit there. You make your way into your bedroll and you try to get to the right angle. And then it's just dark. And time's passing. And you're thinking, and you're closing your eyes, and you're trying to get to a point where sleep happens. And eventually it does. And morning comes.
Hello, morning.
I'll say that Reggie's the last to awaken. What are Vesta and Henny doing right about now?
Getting breakfast ready.
Yep, getting coffee for my goth is not descriptor, but BF.
Cowgoth GF?
Cowgoth is incredibly cursed. I love it.
I love that imagery. Man, that's a fucking look. Can we make Cowgoth a thing?
No, I am informing you. You are discovering that Cowgoth is a thing.
That's
like incredible. You can Google it and you can find Pinterest boards and Pinterest boards.
That's a good look.
I'm stepping over the threshold and yeah.
All of my screens are occupied.
So nothing that I found here is great.
All of my screens are occupied. Otherwise, I would look it up, but rest assured, that will be a Google.
Yeah, Gabe gets to look it up on his phone. Meanwhile, Ken is sitting there not touching anything for fear of destroying XSplit in this entire stream.
Okay, Ken, it's the same as Googling goth cow.
No, it's a single word. Cowgoth.
Cowgoth. Gotta get rid of that space.
Maybe it's farm goth.
So I've uploaded some horrible images.
I mean, we're live, so that doesn't help me.
Yeah, again.
When you get a chance, Cowgoth is the worst thing I've ever. It's
I don't want those on. I don't want that on Twitch either. So.
Oh man.
Like it's safe for work. It's just not safe for work in a more transcendental sense.
It's just cursed.
No, this is a furry. This is a furry who's a cow and is goth. So.
Goodness. Anyway.
And now you're gonna have that staring at you for the entire stream.
Yeah.
So it's been a few days. Your fellow companions, even though you guys were kind of just like, okay, whatever, let's clear some space. Like they grumbled and then brought crates in and made makeshift walls. And after a few days, like Reggie, you're waking up and you make your way past like a bunch of piled boxes and barrels on either side that sort of separate out the living part of the warehouse from the working part. Everyone's there sort of. You see that Henny and Vesta are both by the fire getting some stuff ready. Other people are sort of walking around carrying things. There were still a few people asleep back there.
Okay. Well, I mean, should probably just, is Elmira up? Because I'm really curious about this now.
Elmira holds up a cup for the freshly brewed coffee that Henny's in the middle of pouring.
I will take a swig.
Goes and grabs the other one and takes a bit herself.
So, Trunk informs me that you're actually a druid.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I went through that stuff.
That was not fun stuff. If my memory serves.
Yeah, I mean, even in the best of times, but I'd rather not talk about mine if that's all right.
That's fair. Can I ask you a question, though? Not about your past.
Yeah, sure.
If I were to tell you about the whole Rock King thing, which I know I've said 1,000,000 times, but what's your take on it?
I don't know. And she goes and gets a second cup of coffee and goes, fucking, what was it happen again? There was like a deer head or something?
There's a lot of rot. around this deer, and it's just this deer, and I haven't been able to find anything else. And there haven't.
So you saw a rotten deer?
There haven't been any other deer around here.
I mean, that you've noticed.
Well, that I've noticed. I don't know.
I mean, come on. I thought you would road too.
I
kind of chuckles.
I didn't really do it much as a kid. I ignored it. I grew up in Redwine, you know? It's hardly, henge.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you haven't the proven, right? Because that's the big one.
No, I didn't. I chose not to. I went into the military instead.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah, I didn't bother. I didn't want to go through that.
Better for you. No need to.
But, like, I mean, why would it help me understand what's going on?
Fucking... Nomira sort of sits there and has two squirrel hands holding up like a human-sized mug. Well, I mean, it does... I mean, it affects you long term. I mean, big cloud, little silver lining. I don't fucking know. I mean, it's the kind of thing where it's like, if you're people like us, maybe it's the sort of thing that you can do, like, as an adult to prove yourself. But kids shouldn't be doing that shit, you know?
I agree.
I don't think any less of you or anything like that for not going through that shit. If anything, it means you had a bit of mercy that maybe I didn't, you know?
That's certainly true. Growing up in Redwine did give me some benefits to escaping.
Yeah, I mean, besides, you got magic and I don't. There's a whole side of it that you're experiencing that I don't.
Well, I mean, my magic's not that great. I'm having a little bit of trouble with the whole, communication aspect of it. Animals I can talk to.
Yeah. So you can do the talking and the listening.
Well, I mean, I can do the talking, and sometimes things listen. And sometimes I listen. I don't do the listening too often, though. It's hard to hear plants.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, it's different, right? An animal, you're communicating with one animal, but plants, you communicate with the forest.
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of its own thing. Like, the forest is a beast in itself, I guess. But that's kind of what the Proven's about, right? It's you facing that beast. I mean, it's about a lot of shit, you know? This conversation is happening in front of Henny and Vesta. Do either of them have anything to say about this stuff?
No.
Not Henny is like already off trying to plan out where the best place to go do some research is.
So you've been doing this for 3 days, and based on, I mean, genuinely, episodes upon hours upon hours of seeing Henny characterized, this is probably your third day of continuing to try and find a place to research this because you don't want to accept that it's going to be here and that you're going to have to get help from people.
Yep.
Every single place that you could possibly go is a place that is probably a death trap for you right now until the heat cools off.
Yep. You can just hear Henny swearing as she flips through atlases and maps.
You have seen them before.
Wanted on death there. Wanted on death there. Yeah, no, they want to kill us too, but we're not technically wanted on death.
Yeah.
There's only 10 of them here, so I might be able to...
I'd like to imagine that, like, Reggie and Elmira are having a quiet conversation over coffee, and then Henny's over near, like, the table, and this is a warehouse, so it's one massive, big building that you've just barely attempted to segment off for yesterday-related reasons. Yesternight, rather. And, like, so, like, Vesta's just in the middle cooking something, like, Henny's sitting there, like, leafing through things, being like, what about red wine? No, that, maybe red wine? And then Vesta being like, not there. Yeah, that exiled upon penalty of death, and I already broke it once already. They're not going to be happy.
Henny looks over at Reggie and Elmira having like a nice, quiet, normal conversation and goes, "You two keep it down. I'm trying to think."
I mean, I can keep it down your fucking ass if you want.
And I scooch over further away from them. About a foot, because that's as far as the table will allow me to go.
Like, literally just...
Grumbling, I used to have an office.
You used to have an aide. I mean, they weren't your aide. It was like department aides. But, like, you could wave down someone from a hallway and they would do shit for you. They would get the documents. It was magical.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, well, something, divorce. Something.
Yeah, I was gonna say Reggie is equally as fallen. Alright. Oh, maybe I should do the proving.
You think?
I mean, like...
I don't know these woods. I mean, I know these woods, but I don't know these woods. It's not where I did it, but it's not going to be anywhere else. So, I mean, yeah.
I mean,
do you remember all the rules and stuff, or do you want me to go over that? If it's all right with everyone else being down a Reggie.
I don't remember all the rules, but it seems like a good time, seeing as Henny already wants me out.
I don't want you out. I want you to be quiet.
That's the same thing.
And he says as she slams down Paprika next to Vesta and like wanders off with an armful of like atlases that have already been read 6 times. Well, it's 9 days. You're like a beast in the woods. You can't approach people. You don't have anything, just a pipe and a little bit of swamp grass, 9 days worth. And I mean, even that's optional, but otherwise you're supposed to wander into the woods naked and come back in 9 days. I mean, if I could give you advice, try to... I don't know. It's the same thing. Talk, listen, communicate. Sometimes just have fun. You're there. Do stuff. I don't know. Follow rivers. If you're bored, find a bird that's cool. Follow it around a while. That's what I did. 2 days. Bird and kids. Cool kids.
2 days following a bird. Talking to the kids. All right.
I mean, you say that. You might spend 3. Depends on how things go.
Reggie's contemplating for like 5 minutes straight before he eventually just goes, yeah, I think I need to do this. It's just, I'm not going to be able to get over this until I'm able to get in touch and figure out what the heck this is. Once I figure out what this is, I'll be able to move on from it.
Might be how things go, dude. Might be how things go.
Well, if I can go through the proving and still have no fucking clue what the hell is going on, I don't think I'll ever be able to figure it out.
And I guess that'd be the case. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not the emotional contact one. I'm the shoot people to get angry one.
No.
I mean, I don't want to be dismissive. You know, well, proving's a big thing. I mean, you want me to make an announcement or something? Or are you just going to walk out in the woods and I can tell people where you've gone for 9 days?
No, I think I can make the announcement.
All right, then.
So as Vesta's like cooking something, I'm going to go up to the pot, grab the lid, and just kind of ting, ting, ting.
Vesta's like, wait, what?
Sorry, I just needed to borrow. Sorry, I just needed to borrow that for a second. Hanny, you don't need to come over here.
From over one of the crates in the sleeping area, like ears folded back, you see like a 2 hours of sleep, red-eyed from Rollins.
Rollins, you can sleep too. It's fine.
Oh, what? It's an announcement.
Well,
Come on, announcement.
I'm going on a druid proving. I'm gonna get naked,
shit.
go into the
He
forest
stands
for
up.
9 days, and then probably, maybe, should possibly come back.
Vesta's like, okay. Why?
I can't understand the feeling that I had when I looked at that deer. It was something about it. There was that hunger, that overwhelming hunger that I need to get to the bottom of. And the only way I can get to the bottom of it is by getting more in touch with the lessons that my dad taught me.
And Steelfist wanders up and he goes, well, I believe in you, friend. If you want to go out into the woods and chew on a deer to learn the meaning of life, well, that's the way things are done, friend.
Henny looks up, or not. Henny is way off in the back of the warehouse, and she comes up and she says, "Reginald,
What?
you got this."
Okay.
Still leans in and says, "You're not gonna go eat that rotting deer, are you?"
I'm not going to eat the rotten deer.
You're not going to eat the rotten deer.
Okay.
The whole
For the
point,
sake of the viewers, though, does Reggie feel like he might eat the rotten
he
deer?
might have eaten the rotten deer.
Nasty.
Provings are harsh for turtle folk, alright? We're bulky. We need to eat a lot of food in a day, and you know what? You come across a rotting deer carcass, you might just...
Oh gosh.
He's not going to eat the rotten deer carcass. He's going to go off. He's going to learn some magic. He's going to come back real strong, a good friend, and we'll have some time to figure out what we want to do. And we'll come back, and we'll be a big happy family, and we'll move forward, and I can finally have some peace and quiet.
By now, everybody here in the warehouse has been made aware. They've heard the announcement, and they're all sort of gathered round. Not everybody's saying anything, but a few people have some choice words. Albjorn tells you to stand guard. Rollins tells you to stay vigilant. You heard what Steelfist had to say. Go chew on a dead deer. Which was very much in a supportive capacity.
Did my fire alarm seriously just go off?
I don't know. I heard like the faintest of...
Was that... Okay, because that was loud in my ear.
Microphone must not have picked it up.
Thank
I think
God!
they have mercifully peaked.
Thank God!
The thing is, like, I'm watching this open with, like, the Twitch so I can see if there's anything that comes up on chat. So it's got the 10-second delay, so I have the mysterious noise, and then I'm just watching, going, what's going on? And I see you jump like a foot.
That... Oh, wow. That fucking... Alright, well... Here's hoping that never happens again.
Didn't bother me.
That's good. Gave me a heart attack. Let's go on a druid proving.
All right, Reggie has his armor on and his hat and all that.
Probably gonna ask Trunk and Elmira to, like, you know, escort me to the forest kind of thing. Just because, you know, Elmira knows what's about to happen and Trunk needs to haul my gear back. And I don't think Henny wants to be exposed to naked turtle man.
So, Reggie, Vesta, Henny, do any of you speak Torgish?
No.
Okay, so you don't hear what's going on, but Trunk and Elmira sort of, like, bicker for a little bit, and then eventually Elmira is like, yeah, fine. Let's go. We'll get you some dignity.
Well, it's not for my dignity. It's for the sake of everyone else. I just assumed that they didn't want to see me, you know, fully exposed.
Old naked turtle
no.
man.
It's okay, Reggie. We'll look at you. We'll look at your reptile dick. It's all right.
That would be a cloaca.
We'll look at your cloaca. It's all right. Look, man, everybody. maybe that's something you learn and you're proving. You have 9 days alone naked. Maybe you have a time to get to love the body that you're born in. You know, I mean, it's a good thing while you're alive. Come on, bud. Strip in front of the whole warehouse. Strip in front of and nobody else is clapping.
Don't worry, I have to come back naked, so, like...
Great.
I'll be putting on clothes in front of the whole warehouse, so...
Steelfish just, as the only other reptilian in the party, Steelfish just, like, looks at everyone else sort of skeptical, like, y'all realize that you're not going to see anything, right? It's a cloaca. The whole point is that it leaves you flush. Like, and he just genuinely just like pantses himself for a second, and it's just scales, and he goes like, he does it. He's like, it's a vent. There's nothing exciting about it.
It's not the logistics. It's the principle of the thing.
They don't need the mental image, and we all know that Henny's mind is an imaginative one.
What's that supposed to look? Okay, I'm just saying it's not
Trunk actually gives.
Why you were pants in the first place?
Trunk actually gives Reggie a dirty look.
Oh, right. He did not mean for that. He just meant that you have a porn book. That's literally all he meant.
Okay. At this point, Henny is pushing Reginald out the door. Like, okay, enough with the cloacas, enough with this, that, and the other thing, enough stomping around. Go out and talk to the birds or whatever. You got this. You're going to do great. You're going to do fine. You're going to make your daddy proud. I believe in you.
Oh, okay.
So does Vesta have anything to say in all this, or does the door close with Vesta just still stirring stew?
Vesta's just like, what the fuck just happened?
Like a little bit. Like, Vesta's just going to be like, okay, have a good time.
All
I
right.
guess that's that. Now you got to strip naked.
Yep.
So you wander a little ways out. You look back and you can see from where you are that there's a few people peeking their eyes through the shutters. And so you go further and you go around a bend.
It's not actually an embarrassment thing. As soon as he leaves, if people are peeking at him, he'll just strip and just be like, all right, I'll just leave here.
Yeah, you take off the big teal hat with the feather in it. You take off the teal cloak. Big thing of armor. Axe. Pockets. Belt. Fuck you guys. And you wander off into the woods.
Through the archway that I made the night prior.
All right. In that case, it's just Reggie. You're in the woods. Sure as a forest.
This is definitely a forest. I should have gotten some swamp grass off Rollins.
I'm going to say that because of the fact that it's literally a right and that Rollins has some, he would have passed you swamp grass and a pipe. He's got a spare. They break.
Okay. So, Reggie's gonna take out the pipe and swamp grass and just be like, never did this before, and just start trying to ignite it, then maybe smoke a little bit, and then
If this is Reggie's first time, because I also know that Ken hasn't done this before, how do you... Please describe to me in detail how you consume swamp grass from the pipe.
I want to give Gabe's definition of it, which is take a life-breathing, or life-saving inhale.
Poor Gabe.
Because
Now,
genuinely,
it's crucial. If you want to do the old Harris green out, you do have to hold it in for the count of 10.
yes, yes.
I like that you say the old Harris green out like you're an habitual smoker and not like it's a thing that happened once and you were like, man, that was a bad time. I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah, no, listen, it was enough that I think it should be part of the lexicon.
Yeah. But yeah, being asthmatic also, I know what a good life-saving inhale entails. But Reggie wouldn't hold for 10 seconds. He doesn't know to do that. He just thinks you gotta inhale it.
All right, so you're sitting there. You're naked. You're in the woods. You're a little ways in from the archway. And there's no path, so you're kind of just here amidst the pines, kind of pushing them around. There's like a crackety. You pause for a second, just kind of surrounded by twigs. You look around. You look forward. You think you see light. You look down. You look into the light. And you just get frustrated. You turn around 180, start walking backwards, and shield shove through the woods and brush all the twigs off. And you're in a little clearing, and you just hack up the smoke immediately.
Then he'll try doing it a little bit more gingerly.
You give it a minute. It kind of feels like you just put your face up to a campfire and like. Yeah,
he's gonna do that. Probably look around the clearing, make sure no one saw that. Like John Stone walking by, just being like, "What the fuck is going on?"
So you put your hand up against a tree, so you hack and you steady yourself and you wait because your throat's still tingly, and you try to see what you're feeling. And you feel lightheaded, and then as that starts to fade, you realize that that's just because you hacked up a lung. You give it another go, and you still cough, but by now it's one of those things where you're like, all right, I'm done with this. And you kind of loosen up a little bit, and what does Reggie expect this to be like?
He expects, like, some weird, grandiose, like, thing. Like, he expects some weird, grandiose journey out of this. Like, he expects his life to be forever changed by this adventure. And he's in a forest.
So yeah, so you're in a forest clearing. You've inhaled some drugs that you've never had before, and you don't know how they feel. Yeah. Walk towards... Actually, you know what? I'm going to roll... Do you want to roll this? Just
sure.
Roll... I'm going to say roll a d6. Not odds or evens, just tell me the result.
5.
5, okay. It's actually kind of faint. You get used to it, and by then, like, you don't notice that it's happened because you don't feel anything, and then you're just like, all right, and start walking through the woods, and then suddenly you're like, how long have I been walking? And you push through, and you're in that big, burnt-out clearing from before. By now you can see that the ash has settled, there's no smoldering or anything. It's been a little bit, and there's already sort of like sprouts coming up all over the place.
Are there still, like, deer around here? Well, I know I said I didn't find deer, but it was ways away.
So, you say that to yourself, and you're like, ways away. Ways away. Are there deer? Deer. Is there deer a ways away? And you look across the clearing, and sure enough, there's one that just buries its head down a little bit, and then looks up, and then it spots you, and it freezes.
And Reggie just, like, kicks in and sort of goes, so I guess I'm supposed to talk to you?
It's dead still.
Hello? Reggie then kind of goes Grove Druid and just kind of, like, sends messages of, like, hello, welcoming, like, no threats. Like, he's just like,
roll for it.
That would be 3d6. And that would be a 12.
Alright, so you're trying to focus, and your head's kind of like, not swimming, but it's just different. Like, when you're sober, you're on a Windows, and now that you've had some of this, you're on a Mac kind of thing. You're kind of underwhelmed by the whole thing. And as you get distracted, you kind of cough, and when you look back up, the deer kind of beckons you and starts walking across the clearing to sort of the edge and then looks at you again.
Reggie just kind of shrugs and goes, got nothing better to do.
And like, the deer goes further into the woods. It's one of those things where it's like, a deer doesn't slow down pace to walk with a person. It's not a thing they do. It just goes as far as possible, like, and then waits, and then kind of thing. Eventually, you reach a river. It's pretty wide, actually. The deer looks up, and it looks at you, and you look across, and there's another deer. And the one deer looks up, and you can see it's like scanning the area as the other deer goes down to drink. Then the deer gets up, the other one goes down to drink as the other one's scanning.
Well, I guess I'll go down a little ways further and also grab some water. Why not?
Well, you're Tortugas, you're turtle persons. You don't think about like the depth of the water or anything. You just kind of like wade in, you lean down, you get a nice drink, and it's one of those things where like you drink a little bit and you realize that you want a fucking liter of this shit. You drink and you drink and you drink. And
oh, this is the good shit.
Based on the taste, it's kind of minerally. You're probably kind of far from the source, but nothing gross about this. You wade through the river, and it gets low to the point where you would have to duck your head under, but you don't mind. You can just breathe underwater a little while. You go across the river. Underneath, you see that there's little plants just at the bottom that are all kind of oriented to follow the flow, which is kind of faint but consistent. Then you make your way back up to the other side, and you sure are in the forest.
Yep. Certainly in the forest. Reggie's just gonna flip over and kind of like relax on a shelf for a little bit and just be like, what am I supposed to do now?
Alright, so you walk over and you see that there's this big, like, sunlit slab of rock on the edge of a clearing. Looks like you're probably at a small ridge. You look up into the sky, not directly at the sun, but it's in your field of view. And you smell rotting. And you smell rotting, and the sky looks pretty. And the trees, all the leaves are dancing this little dance. And you feel like you're falling, and you feel like you're falling, and then you get a lurch that makes you realize that it's not this new experience, it's literally falling, and the entire shelf and the edge of it cracks, and you can see that you're actually at the edge of a wide crevice. There's a whoomp, and you take 25 bludgeoning damage. Anything you want to do for that?
Brace?
Alright, go for it. It's just you and the shell.
Yeah, just me and the shell. The shell gives me five threshold because I'm Sentinel as well. That shell, man. Permanent shield. You can't take that from me.
You're hell in a shell.
Oh, wow. That was a good roll, too.
Don't tempt him.
So, I don't get any threshold. Like, I don't get any, like, normal-ass threshold. It's literally 5 from shell, right? Like, would be my naked threshold?
Yeah.
Okay. So that.
And then the plus from Sentinel as well.
Yeah. So I would make that 15. That would make that 25, and that would make that 31. I rolled really well.
All right, so you can feel the lurch, and even though you were in this swimmy place a second ago, you've got a pretty strong metabolism. I mean, you're a lifelong fighter. Like, you do, even though you're a big, slow dude, you do some aerobic exercises. Like, you've got a lung capacity, you're kind of handling it, and so you're able to kind of focus on the task at hand. And with the adrenaline, you angle yourself and you slide on the back of your shell, and then there's a whoop, and then there's another 25 damage, another bludgeoning.
I'll brace for that, too.
Go for it.
Just bracing all these hits. I did not roll as well. Shit. Alright, so with the 5 for that, that would put that at 7, that's a 10. Oof. Nope, I did not meet that threshold.
How much did you miss it by? For flavor.
Let's see, that's 16, that's 21. I missed it by 4.
By 4. So the same thing happens, and you've already got this momentum, and you try to catch yourself, but you hit your knee, and you scrape your arm, and you think you hit your head, and then you slide down a little ways. There's a root there for a second, and you reach out and roll delicate.
Oof. Oof. That's a 7.
So you reach for the root, and when you 100% grab it, you have the time. And what happens is you grab it, and you have momentum, and all the little twiggly bits fold, and it's just... and you're off the root, and you keep falling. And as you look up, you swear you see other figures, and then there's like... things go dark. You don't black out. You stop seeing things because you flip. You're at the bottom of this chasm. Barely any light is going down here. You're on your stomach and you think you see something. And it's in a moment you feel yourself hit something soft with give. And then that give very quickly stops having give. And there's something that slows it. And there's a big hurtling feeling on your inside. It's almost like a roller coaster more than anything, and there's a crack, and then you flip it back up and you don't see any light, and you end up on your back somewhere that feels meaty, and that's all you know.
I do not like this feeling.
Oof.
I'm going to try to get up ever so slowly. Gotta be careful. May have bruised something.
So you slowly try to get up, and you can't. You slip, and you go to feel your head to see if you injured it or anything, and there's the divot that you've had since the war, but otherwise, I mean, you can't see. You're presumably coated in some sort of viscera. You hear the sounds of people nearby kind of struggling against the same thing.
Yeah.
I need to get some light going. But I don't have anything. Don't have any tools for it.
All right, so it's just petty magic. You kind of just, and it's like a lighter. That's all you get. You just kind of foof a little bit of fire, as much as you learned to sustain in grade school. And looking around, you're in kind of a cavity, and when you look up, you can see that there's some sort of, looks like a bone shard. The redness of the light makes this all look wrong, like it's more muted than it should be somehow. As this happens, the character that Gabe is playing, you see a little glint of light as you come to. You've experienced the same thing. And Chelsea's character, you do not, but you hear movement. And I'm going to take my headphones off and go off camera for a minute.
Ooh. It is worth...
Oh, do ya?
Yeah.
Do you hear movement now?
God blimey.
Yikes. Oh, God. Yeah, so you guys don't get to play Henny and Vesta. How does that feel, Chelsea, to not get to play as Vesta?
It's actually not too bad.
Not too bad?
We've had other games where I haven't played
true.
Vesta.
A bomb.
We've had one.
Chet.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You played Chet. I forgot about those. Those were good streams. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed you being Chet. You being Chet somehow worked out so well.
Is it just mirrored? Does Will's empty chair seem really ominous?
It is kind of ominous. I'm gonna fill it with Reggie. No.
Okay.
Oh no, it's not letting me do that. It doesn't like me doing that.
How would you fill it with this great image I found down here?
No.
How about I don't fill it with cow goth?
And as Reggie.
Oh, good, he's back. Anyway, so about my penis condition.
The condition of your peen?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He has a peen prob.
Well, it's not so much a problem as much as it's just like, oh, too big, you know? Man, sucks.
This is supposed to be safe for work, I think.
Oh.
Is it?
My penis.
That's news to me.
My penis is too contained, you know? Like, too, just sort of out of the picture, out of the way.
You can stop anytime you want, Gabe. It's fine.
Yeah, anytime. Absolutely at all. Soon.
Fine. Maybe
I mean, as far as I know, this bit just started, but I don't know if I went off camera and it was going that entire time.
The bit literally just started. He wanted to say something weird when you came back.
Yeah.
Good job. I'm really proud of you. You did a good job on that game. Thank you.
Thanks.
Keeping the tradition alive.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, where were we?
Ken is in Viscera.
And you guys just found my light. Well, presumably my light. I'm assuming it's my light.
I hear something.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 is what you hear from me as I struggle against this viscera.
Chelsea, want to roll delicate?
I don't know what my delicate is. 1 second.
Your delicate is good. Trust me.
Good. Holy shit.
Your delicate
Man,
is very good.
Great. I am so incredibly delicate. 18 for delicate.
All right. So you're already immersed in this, and you keep yourself quiet. You place your hands still. You don't see any light, but you hear things, and you can you don't feel any shifting in the walls. So you're not that close, but you feel faintly like a heave in a hoe in one direction, which you reckon is where these people are. Seems to be. Actually, and then you go and you feel around with your tail, and behind you there's an opening.
I go that way. Gotta get out.
All right, you struggle to sort of, and you can't, and you have to sort of turn your body, and by now you manage to get through an opening, and as you get close to it, you feel something. It's not sharp, it's not jagged, so like you can still move past it without being too afraid, but it's this big iron thing. And you make your way out, and you still don't see much, but you fall a little ways, just like a few feet, and there's sticky stone floor.
What was that iron thing?
You try to get a look at it, it's tough to, but there's just a gentle little light making its way from the top of the crevice, and you can see an outline of what looks like a big ballista bolt.
Oh. Interesting. Oh, what are the other, like, can I see the other people from where I am?
Nope.
No?
You can see what they're stuck in, though. And on that little line, Ken and Gabe.
I'm wriggling. What, can I make a grace roll or a delicate or something to try and get out of this goop?
Yeah, pick something.
I'm gonna do a grace roll. Yeah, okay. Do. That's a 16.
All right.
Man,
Sorry?
With a 16, you squeeze your way through, and you encounter this naked turtle person, and what are you gonna say? You're mysteriously naked too, and you sort of see that there's an opening up top, and you said it was Gracie rolled, right?
Yes.
So you heave your way up, you grab something, and you clamber up to the top, and you end up on top of this thing that we're in. Ken.
Did I see this naked person? This also naked person. I am going to follow them.
Okay, roll grace.
Well, I'm going to try and heave, just brute strength my way through.
Just through like a side?
Yeah, just kind of like... I know I can't get a good grip, but I don't need to hold the grip for long. I just need that push.
All right, so you wave the figure like to get some distance, and you roll brawn.
That is a good roll. That's 18, 21, 26.
26. All right. So you sit and you pause. You don't see much, you don't feel much, but you're here and you have a sense of what's around you. So you leap up. You're tall enough that you get a grasp onto those. You think it's a bit of bone or something, but you know it's not going to hold you, and you bank on that, and you heave your weight back downwards, and there's a crunch, and that's part one. And then you get the top of it, you yank. By now it's bent. You think it might be a rib, and you crack. As this happens, Chelsea and Gabe, your characters meet up on the outside of this thing. You now have a good picture of what it is. And you see there's a 100-foot, like, massive body of a giant that's been riddled with arrows with a broken limb that's fallen down this gorge, deep in the midst of rotting. And you see Reggie just crack out of its chest.
Yeah.
Wow.
Disgusting.
Like a xenomorph, just...
Do we know each other?
Hi, I'm Twig. And I extend a hand, covered in viscera.
Salus.
That's a funny name.
I guess so.
So, I notice you two don't have dicks. What's up with that?
One thing at a time. I like to get out of this whatever first.
You make your way past, and you look back, and you can't tell. So you get back to where these two people are looking in awe to get the same eye line, and you see the same thing. The corpse of a giant with a gaping hole in the chest that you came out of.
Well, I mean, not too happy to see another rotting corpse, but Trunk would probably be happy to see a dead giant. Hi, how's it going?
Hi, I'm Twig.
Hi,
And I extend a slimy hand.
Reggie.
Nice to meet you. I do shake it way too hard. For too long, like uncomfortably long.
Reggie is like barely even paying attention to the handshake.
Around you, you see this body. It's in a very low, like inch-thick pool of water, which makes you think that the water's draining somewhere, but as far as you can tell, it's somewhere you wouldn't be able to follow, like a tiny little hole. You can see that it's dribbling down from above, which seems to be a path up, but it'd be all wet. You might have to find some other way out of here.
You guys any good? You guys any good at lights? Because I'm not really the best.
I can make bombs. Are bombs any good?
That would probably not help us. We need something like a torch. That's bad.
Yeah, I could. I do some elemental and light up like a torch.
You put your hands together, you bend some elements, and you make a little like witch light. It's nice and bright from elements annihilating each other. It illuminates the area. And you can see in like plain white light everyone around you. There's you. You're a green Pythona, not wearing anything. You see a green Tortuga, not wearing anything. And you see a little pale blonde elf-born kid, not wearing anything.
So,
and speaking of which, you go, ha! And you get the stick that's plunged itself shallowly into the body of the giant. You have your sharpened stick back.
All right.
so
That's pretty good, mister.
Okay, well, should get out of here, I guess. Man.
yeah, I guess. You guys on your proven too?
What now?
You know what?
I don't know how I got here, actually.
You know what? I'm just not gonna question it. We're gonna keep going on that one.
Okay.
We'll bookmark that. Get out of here first. And Reggie just kind of like looks at himself and is just like, maybe go to a stream. Step one, get out. Step 2, stream.
Oh, slow down there, buddy. And I start trying to climb, one thing at a time. Just trying to climb out of this ravine. Brute force it.
All right. You make your way up a crag, and then it's a dead end, and you go back down. And up another crag, and taller, and it's a dead end, and you go back down. And a third one, taller than the third. And you get to the ledge and go, I got it, and you realize upon looking down that you've gone nowhere, and you sort of clamber your way back down. From where you are with the witch light, you can see that the water dripping kind of snakes its way. There's a little divot that water's trickling down that seems to go towards a cavern of some sort.
Well, looks like we can't get up that way.
Well, we can certainly go towards that cavern. It's not a way out, but fuck, do you know any other ways?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
Reggie, roll Druid. Grove Druid.
Grove? Cool.
Animal 1.
Animal 1. That's a 5. Wait, sorry, that's a misroll. I only rolled 2d6. I need to roll 3d6.
Ooh. There's hope yet.
There's hope yet. That was a much better roll. Thank God that's a 15.
Okay. So you just gut instinct, you grab everyone, you move, and you back up a little way, and out of that cavern, meaning no harm to you, there's this big worm thing that kind of slurps its way through. You can see based on its size that obviously the cavern that this makes is big enough for you. It evidently sort of like, it has these feelers and it feels that you're there, but it doesn't do anything. It just moves on to kind of burrow its way faintly into the giant corpse based on the opening that Reggie made.
What the
Gross.
fuck is that?
That's a big worm, friend.
Reggie, you felt kind of like a hunger pang as this thing came in, and that hunger pang is kind of fading. You feel cozy for some reason. Safe. By now, just based on the sheer size of this giant, this otherwise massive worm has managed to completely tear itself into this thing's chest cavity.
We might want to not deal with that.
That's my vote. Let's keep going.
Oh, come on, we can take it. And I raise my sharpened stick.
And you do that, I'm just going to lower the sharpened stick and just be like, no.
Neither of us have sharpened sticks.
Yeah. So,
you can take mine. I got my bare fists. Well,
so roll Grove Druid again.
Okay.
You've got 1.5 fists?
Yes.
So that is a 11.
11. You move and you point this stick down, and as you do that, you see a maggot kind of reel up a little bit. You're almost about to swat it, and for a moment you feel like just a vague unease and fear. As your hand moves closer to block out the light, that fear deepens, and when you move away, it kind of settles a bit. The maggot accidentally rolls off your hand and plonks on the bottom of the cavern. It's a maggot. It weighs nothing. It's fine.
Okay, so we need light, because I don't like darkness, apparently.
I have a witch light going right now.
Yeah. We need to stay in that witch light.
What happened to your fingers?
You know, fight. Sometimes you lose a finger or two.
Ah.
And hold up my right hand, and it's the pinky and ring finger are just shorn clean off.
Cool.
And sometimes you lose a life, and Reggie's gonna point to the clear divot in his skull. So
Ooh.
sometimes
Same,
it's just
dude.
best not to get into that fight.
Just to be clear, this is the divot from way back in the war, not any new divot.
Yeah. This is the divot that killed Reggie initially.
I go to poke the divot, and I say, does it hurt?
No, it's a very old wound.
I'll stop complaining then. Let's get going.
That is the plan.
All right, you follow the cavern without any real chance to turn off until you see a distant light at the first turnoff and move towards it. You hear the sound of rushing, and it feels damp, and you can see that you come out kind of not right behind a waterfall, but near it, sort of like tucked off to the side where there's still a decent bit of spray, but you can kind of walk right onto dry land.
Okay.
Further ahead, you see a section of road that you remember struggling to get the wagon over. It's washed out ahead.
Well, definitely back towards base. But can't really go back there.
What do you mean? That's the best place to go.
He's got a point, mister.
I'm on my proving. I can't go back.
What are you proving?
What are you proving?
I'm proving that I'm able to figure out what this is without a smartass telling me what it is.
What is?
The Rock King.
Who's the Rock King?
I don't know, but it's something to do with that worm.
With that worm?
Definitely.
Do you want to go back in there and talk to it?
Not necessarily, no.
That sounds like a terrible idea.
That would be a terrible idea.
So
It didn't seem too harmful. He was just hanging out.
Well, it
That's 'cause you're not dead.
didn't seem too harmful as long as you weren't in front of it.
So what are you planning on doing then to figure this out?
By now, I'll say it's been a few hours. It's getting close to noon. You headed out first thing in the morning.
Well, step one, I need to find me some food. Actually, scratch that. Step one, I need to find that river again.
The one that you saw initially, the big one that you came up here by, or the one that you're in now? Because you're at the base of a waterfall, and then it trickles down past the washout, and then continues into the woods.
Yeah, basically I need to go back. Like, I just need to find a water source to wash up.
Oh, you're in one.
Yep, cool. Happy to be in one.
So you trudge a little ways. You can see that the water has sort of worn away a little edge of the rock. As you look around, your initial impression of, yep, you're in the woods, has started to fade. You're in a clearing, a place where the damp seems to not really let things grow too close to the river that are like big and woody. That being said, around here the soil is rich, and as you step down on the moss, it's like thick, like a soaked carpet. You're careful, and then you make your way into the water and get all the viscera off. As you lean down, you see that there's little minnows and stuff. You know, you get some stuff off of you. You lean down a little bit deeper in the river to get like the top of your head, and you see a couple of minnows eating from the body of a dead fish, and then you get back up again.
I'm doing a cannonball into the river.
Roll for cannonball.
You look down at the edge of the river, which is about 1 foot thick, and you just kind of like, haha, and then just flip.
I just thought it would be deeper than that, but oh well. I start scrubbing the viscera off me too.
Yeah, no, Salas is already scrubbing that off.
Like, I come up from the water and do that thing you see on Instagram, where like your hair flips and does like a big trail of water in the air.
You do that and you whoosh, and all that water sort of like spritzes off and behind you. You're the only one here who has hair, and you have a lot of it.
Do a big dramatic hair flip.
You look around and you see that the falls are at the base of a really large, jagged ridge. A little ways away is where like the road's been washed out, sort of perpendicular, and then this river seems to widen faintly as you go deeper into the woods.
Are there any plants along the riverbed with a leaf big enough for me to make like a fig leaf situation?
So you look around. There's a couple of them that are frustratingly too close but not enough. And you don't find anything close enough around the trail. You find some reeds and you pick them. You might be able to use these as some sort of flexible affixment, but that's all you got so far. You might have to go deeper into the woods to find something broad like that.
Well, I announced my intentions to the group. I'm going to go find something to cover my ding-dong. Be back in a bit.
Don't go too far. I mean, it's still a forest.
So I guess I have questions of like, what's the last thing that my character remembers, or am I just aware of everything? Like, do I know who Reggie is?
You know who Reggie is. You kind of have like a. I sent you a message about this stuff before the game, so as to not give away things for the viewers, but you kind of have a viewer's perspective. You're not supposed to be here. And you're not necessarily Salas.
Okay.
But even then, there's still enough of Salas in you that you would be motivated to ask questions. You would know things about who this guy is, his relations to the rest of the people you know, to Henny, to Vesta, to all them.
Okay. Man. So what are you doing now? What's your plans?
Well, can't fight on an empty stomach, and sure as anything in my life, it's going to lead to fighting. So I guess next step is to make some food. And for that, I guess Reggie's going to try his henge again to grow some food.
All right, roll.
Okay. He made 10 food. He actually made enough food to sustain himself today.
All right, so you get low, you get comfortable in the water, you sort of put both your hands onto the soil and you just sort of push, and there's plants that grow out of it. Nice, damp, fertile soil is kind of easy pickings, so it's easy for you especially to, like, grow up just sort of like field greens and stuff like that that are safe to pick up together and eat.
Better than that Torgish salad. That was pretty good salad, though.
To be true, this is probably the stuff that they foraged the Torgish salad from.
Yeah, but I make it better.
You say this as you eat, like, waterfall dampened leaves.
Yeah. It's better when you harvest it yourself.
So, how's the group?
Well, we got Fig Leaf Boy. Then we got you. I mean, what the heck's your story?
The group you just left.
The group I just left, they're fine. I mean, they're a weird group. How do you know that I left a group? Oh wait, no, I did mention the group.
You did, yeah. You mentioned the group.
By now, it's just past noon, just barely enough that the shadows have started to shift, and you can tell. Twig returns with a large enough leaf that's been fashioned together into a makeshift loincloth.
All right, now this isn't weird.
We're both still naked.
We're all just like, what was weird about that? I don't understand.
All right, well, are we heading out? We staying here? We making camp? We hunting monsters? What are we doing?
I mean, I do need to investigate that worm some more.
Well,
But-
I mean, we kind of did go in the opposite direction of the worm.
Yeah, but that was to, get away from the worm that can swallow us whole.
So you want to find a slightly smaller worm?
Well, not necessarily. Just more to be like... It was a regroup. We needed to regroup.
It was only like a 5-minute... It would only be like a 5-minute walk back into that cave and up to the corpse again.
I grip my stick and I say, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Begrudgingly, you guys wander back into the cave. You pass that first junction. You think you went to the left, so you go to the left, and then... Lucky draw, you end up back at that corpse after a little while. You don't see much. You feel the faint rumbling because this thing's big. And it pokes its head out just a little bit, takes a bit of corpse, and then pulls it back in. This thing then comes out, and it comes close to the lot of you, close enough that like if it wanted to lunge at you, it probably could try, but it doesn't. It just kind of skitters around and then moves further up the torso to the neck, and distantly you see a glint of metal.
Glint of
So,
metal at the neck or in it?
Further ahead, somewhere in the darkness,
So you
something
wanna
big.
I mean, if I see metal, I would much rather have something, in my hands to fight it
I mean,
in
yeah,
case
absolutely.
things go south. So maybe check out that metal first.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Sounds good. And I scamper up the corpse.
All right, you scamper your way up and sort of walk along it as Salas and Reggie walk along the base and get closer to the edge. Once you get past the neck and over to the head, you can see the big sort of hole that this thing's burrowed close to the base of the neck by one of the arteries. And further ahead, past the head, you see that there's, bent by the fall, this big, way beyond any size that you could even comprehend to lift, silver crown that's sort of like bent and crushed with the fall and the weight of the giant. Still distinguishable as a crown based on the fact that it's circular and kind of half around the head, tumbled off, but the part that's on the bottom is just shredded.
So I take it this person was fancy.
A king of some kind, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned earlier, Rot King, Crown, King. Is this who you're looking for?
I would like to say yes, but honest to God, I have no clue.
I
From the
stab.
hole in the neck that's really close to you guys, this worm thing looks up, it sort of feelers out in your direction, notes your presence, and then goes back in.
As the worm comes out, I have clutched my spear and I am clenching my teeth and growling like some sort of feral animal.
Okay.
It does actually kind of ignore you when you do that. Not like ignore you, but like it doesn't want to go near you as you're sort of growling and threatening.
Big scary twig.
No problem.
So what's Reggie's head at right now?
Reggie's head is everywhere. Like, he's already at the point of like, this is a bust. Should I head back? Like, I'm trying to get in touch with my Grove self. Do I bother with this right now? Like, is this a part of approving? Who the fuck are these people? And why are they naked? Like, it's just a
Sweet.
big, massive questions going through Reggie's head right now.
Well, You smell the sound of You smell the smell of rotting meat. You're near a big metal crown at the bottom of a crevice, and there's a big worm eating this thing.
Well, mister, I don't want to be rude, but it looks like you don't have a weapon now. So you're going to talk to this thing or what?
I guess. And he's just kind of do the Druid mental cast out and just be like, hello? Like, try and communicate with this worm. Is the worm acknowledging? That is a 13.
All right, so with a 13, this place feels... For some reason, you get the inclination that this place feels safe. Like, it could be a home, the way that, like, you might drive past, like, a 2-bedroom house with a white picket fence and be like, oh, okay. There's nothing hostile about this. If anything, this thing's kind of bothered that you're here.
Then I guess I'll send messages of, you know, meaning no harm, safe, like, just in general.
You have no idea if it hears you.
Threat, and it's just like, yeah, right, I'm getting nothing.
Did you tell it we're going to kick its ass?
No, because that sounds like a bad thing when I have no way of attacking.
Is it possible for me to investigate this crown?
Yeah.
I'm going to try to do that. Like, get closer to it and investigate it a little bit.
All right. You go and you look in close and you can see that there's, like, in the sections that aren't torn and shredded, even though there's, like, bits that have clearly got, like, a bit of a patina from the nearby water or bits that have been scratched up. Otherwise, the plate itself is finely hammered. Like, it has the finesse that you would expect from human or Torgish hands.
How big is it? Is it, like, to fit a giant?
It's to fit a giant.
And I'm assuming any engraving on it, anything that would be words, would be in Torgish, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, it actually has no engravings at all.
Okay.
But you would reckon that they would be not in Torgish, but in giant.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
And as you're sort of sitting there and thinking that to yourself, you look and you see that just on the inside of the crown, on the inside rim, there's a little engraving. And this one's in Trader tongue. And it just says, "All kings fall."
Looks like you fell pretty hard.
Yeah, apparently. Like, I'm assuming it's rotting, so I wouldn't be able to be like, ah, yes, he was stabbed by something very large, you know? It's just kind of rotting, decaying, half-eaten by a worm.
While the two of them are investigating the crown, Twig is looking for maybe a bone chip or a tooth that's come loose in the fall that he can give to Reginald to use as a weapon.
All right, so you're looking around and you find a few choice sharp rocks, and then eventually you settle on. It's not even a bone itself. It's like there's a bit of rib that's open, and you break off a flake, and it's a big bone stick, basically.
Hey, mister, I found something for you.
Okay.
I tossed you a big bone, trying to say, no, you don't got to be scared no more.
Could I, maybe doctor to try to figure out how this thing died, like the giant?
You see ballista bolts sticking out of it.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, must have been taken down by something.
If it's ballista bolts, you would assume that it would be Torgs of some sort. Or, you know, anyone that's not a giant. Like, would a giant wouldn't kill another giant with a ballista. Ballistas are small to them.
Yeah, like a ballista would be the size of like a hand crossbow for a giant. Maybe not even like a little like a dollar store super soaker, the one that's just this big.
You get like 3 squirts and then you have to refill it.
Yep, with a cap that doesn't even hold in the water correctly.
Man, that's nostalgia.
You can feel that it's starting to rain. The rain's coming down from the crevice, and even though you can barely see the top, the rain's sure as shit making it to the bottom. It's making the stink very quickly blossom.
Oh, we should probably just get out of here.
But you haven't really talked to the worm yet. That was the whole reason you came down here.
I tried. It's not really talkative.
You didn't try very hard. You just kind of wiggled your fingers a bit and then gave up.
All right.
I'm tapping at the hole that the worm came out of before with my stick, going, Mr. Worm! Mr. Worm!
As you're going, tapping and going, Mr. Worm, Mr. Worm, it's just silent. You don't hear this worm moving or anything like that.
I lead down the hole and yell, hello! My friend wants to talk to you!
You don't really get an echo, just kind of the dull, meaty room tone.
Nasty.
Is the worm still in there? Or did the worm move on?
You didn't see or hear it leave.
That is not an answer. Maya goes borf.
As you all sort of sit there and pause and wait and listen, after a little bit, you hear the distant kind of rumbling of this thing moving further south in the body away from you guys, making all that noise.
I'm just kind of I'm gonna try again and just be like, at the same time to appease Twig, just be like, oh, Mr. Worm, do you know anything about the Rot King? Do I roll? Or
If you so choose.
sure, why not? I'll use all my luck on this one. Sure, that was a 13.
All right, so you say that stuff just to kind of keep up appearances, but really that doesn't say anything to the worm. Instead, you say that out loud, and then you just kind of sit and listen, hoping that there might be some kind of answer.
Yeah.
The worm pokes its way out of a nearby hole, and it deposits a chunk of rotten flesh at your feet and then goes back in.
Well, that doesn't help me. I wasn't asking for rotten food or anything.
Actually, based on your roll of 13, you reckon that actually is an answer to your question in the way that this thing knows how to respond.
What did you ask again?
I asked if I knew anything about the Rot King, and it brought me rot, so I assume it's the Rot King?
I mean, he does have the crown that, it's kind of what I assume.
Yeah.
Not a very satisfying answer, though, eh?
Not a very definitive answer is my problem. That's my problem with animals. They don't give you definitive answers. Plants just don't give you answers.
Can I? Would the crown be too heavy to lift?
You get there, you get closer, and you try to give it a go, but it's pinned under the head. But even based on just your attempt to budge it, you can see that even if it wasn't, you probably couldn't pick it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Water's filling in this hole. It's making it reek something awful. This worm is telling me it's a Rot King. Do I attack it? What do you guys think?
We don't have any weapons. I don't have any weapons.
That's fair.
I can find you a stick or something if you want.
That's not good enough.
Yeah, no.
This thing is literally as large as we are.
Well, the water, now that you're mentioning it trickling and coming into the small hole, you can see that it's going down sort of the way that you went back out towards the waterfall.
Well, maybe someone else knows who the Rot King is.
It's got to be this dude, this giant guy, right?
I guess, maybe. I don't know. Like maybe the worm calls itself the Rot King and all of that. I don't know. Let's get somewhere where it doesn't completely reek.
Good idea.
All right, you make your way back out through the caves. The water isn't going down in the way the Y intersection goes. If anything, there's more water coming from there, so you reckon that goes up. You keep following it out, and right near the cave mouth, the water sort of flows into the area where the rest of the waterfall pool is. And you're back near the washed out road, which is now definitely washed out. The rain's coming down proper.
Well, I guess it would be time to set up some sort of cover. Reggie's just kind of like, don't know how to.
You remember that there was a logging trail up here that the scouts said was completely abandoned, but there was just some ruins at the end of it.
I mean, is that allowed? Can I use ruins? Is that like... That sounds like a technicality to me.
I'll say that Reggie doesn't know.
Oh, okay.
Well, Mister, I suppose that depends on who you're trying to impress. Who are you trying to prove yourself to?
That is an excellent question at this point. Reggie's just kind of gonna be like, yeah. I mean, the only rule was not to interact with people. So long as there aren't people there.
Roll Henge.
Ah. Fuck. That's my non-good one. That's an 11.
You're sort of like going, is a ruin even allowed? And as you do that, you're sort of pondering and walking alongside the road. And you step on sort of like a wet, half-rotten log. And as you do that, it crumbles. And you can see all sorts of little insects in the holes and pores of the wood sort of poke their head out at the commotion and skitter back inside to where they're unseen. Can you use ruins?
Sure. So long as there aren't people there. You use whatever you find.
Okay.
I think that makes sense.
Ruins it is.
All right, you follow the washout in what you think is the right direction. It's about 15 minutes of doubt before you get confirmation. By now it's sort of the mid-afternoon, the evening. You make your way up the jagged ridge. The road follows it. The road is well overgrown, but it's still present enough that you could use it to traverse a bit easier than the brush. You get up to the top, and it's straight for ages, until eventually at the edge of your sight through some trees, you can see a big rock face. As you get closer, you see that it's that drop down into the crevice.
So this is where I dropped in. Interesting. But there's just nothing going on with it.
There's a bunch of trees that have kind of grown freely and wobbly, and they're all thin and newish in this area. There's a lot of old, thick stumps that are still in the middle of the ground here. They've been sawed off, clearly in logging operation and not by a just dying, falling tree.
Or dying, falling giant. There's gotta be something to that. I don't know. Where the hell did this giant come from? He has to have been here for like a couple of days? I don't know.
Well, longer than that. Look at all these trees that have grown up.
You move a little bit further ahead on the logging trail, and there's an intersection. Looks like there's a separate section that's similarly all sawed off. In the other direction, You can hear it before you can smell it, before you can see it, but there's some sort of swamp or bog. You can hear like the bugs and frogs, and you can smell the kind of musk that comes from it.
I mean, there might be some clues in a bog. Bogs typically have a lot of rot. There might be a rot king there.
Why is the turtle man the leader when this snake man seems so much meaner?
Hey. He's doing his proving.
I mean, I guess, but like, what are we doing then?
I don't know. I assume you guys had nothing better to do. You fell into the same hole I did, completely naked. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, just helping him out, I guess.
Okay, well, let's go into the bog then.
Like, Will, is it getting close to nighttime and stuff? Because if it's getting close to nighttime, then I'd much rather find shelter.
It's getting close to nighttime in the way that like a canoe trip close to nighttime would be measured. It's still bright out, but like you should be thinking shelter-wise. That being said, you still have the time to kind of divert through the bog a little bit if you really wanted to.
Alright. For the sake of efficiency, you know, it's not like I have 9 days to do this. Yeah, we go into the bog.
Alright, you go. It's not hard to get through the sort of like logged out area, even though there are a few sparse trees, a few thickets here and there. You get to where it kind of like lows out. And from here you can see that like there's one log near you that's like, or a stump rather, that's half out of the bog, and then everywhere else it's just kind of flatted out. You can see that there's like areas where the ground is shallower or higher, and there's like reeds and stuff like that coming out. But otherwise, you just hear the loud sort of almost like a screaming of bugs and life and insects all around here. In the distance, you see that there's a big heron that kind of like looks up at you and then flies off in the distance. There's a few other that you didn't see that then come out from among the reeds and follow.
What would I have to roll to spear a big frog with my stick to eat?
I would say that's grace.
I got a 14.
All right, you wait for the right moment, and then you get a frog. And as you lift your spear up out of the shallow bog, you can see that as you take this edible-sized frog out, there's a little fish that's just narrowly escaped death that's kind of swimming away into the bog.
Ha, shucks.
Well, you win some, you lose some. This is my, like, this is technically very similar to my home. So,
where is that?
Well, originally was Redwine, but, you know, parents do have a place up near Council Henge. So, pretty similar to this place. Although they travel across the water through gators. Are there any gators around here?
You don't see any.
Well, that's explainable. This can't be that big of a bog, right? We've been watching the forests all day.
You look over a little ways, and there's this big tortoise kind of slowly stepping its way along the edge of the bog. It acknowledges your presence and then keeps walking.
That might be my grandpa.
You see it lean down, take the same field green that you had grown like a little while ago. It's naturally growing here. Pull some out of the dirt and...
Okay,
just like you.
He's definitely a relative.
Apple isn't far from the tree.
Yeah, I guess I'll spend some time just kind of exploring. I'll even, like, dip into the bog for a little bit and then, like, get a little bit mud encrusted. Like, fuck it, the rain will wash it off anyway.
You sort of, with trepidation, put your first foot in.
I'm becoming one with nature.
The second foot is deeper in, and in that one you can see that you get through like a layer of like fuzz and froth and plant matter, and then it's kind of watery and dark underneath, and then there's a squidge at the bottom, and then by the time you've reached like your third and fourth step, you're like waist deep, and then you just and emerge just covered in mud.
Nice.
Well,
looking good.
I'm in touch with nature. Every part of nature is touching me.
It really is, my dude.
What would I have to roll to get a fire going? You know, pick a nice. Well, pick a nice little tree or something that'll cover us on the bank of the bog, and
nothing around here catches, not in the slightest.
Ah, dang. Can I roll bomb making to use the methane coming off the bog to?
Please don't. I'm in said bog.
I'll take that look as a no.
You're just kind of sitting there going, "Aw," as you've got a little fire coming out of your finger, and there's a little bubble that just kind of goes, "Bet," and it just goes, "Poof."
Damn.
All right, yeah, we should probably head someplace a little bit drier.
Yeah, where's that logging thing that you were talking about earlier?
It's just a little bit this way. It's probably better to go there for the night.
There's like a resistance as you pull your body out of the mud that's kind of taken hold around it. And as you make your way back on land, you look closely and you see that all the mud that you're depositing is like a rich, dark black. You make your way back.
Can I get like Grove to be like, this is some rich mud. This is like some good shit mud.
Yeah, it feels really potent.
This is some good shit mud.
It does look like good shit mud.
As you look around here, even though it's been dense in a more broad way of speaking around here, in the forest itself, it's like there's these loose but wide ground cover things and stuff like that, like trees every now and again. But here in the depths of the swamp, or in the bog rather, like just along the banks, it's like properly, like you almost have to force your way through. There's plants creeping over plants, fighting to try and get to the top. There's like it almost seems like a battlefield of just plant over plant kind of. You can see the stems crawl over and under and over each other as they're trying to get more and more sunlight.
Cube rushes fucking trees.
So you whoosh through the trees and make it back to the logging trail. From there, you continue on a ways, and there's a bend. And you get back to another, you're not quite at the intersection, you're almost there. You can see it in the distance because this is a big, long, mostly straight whenever the terrain allows it logging trail. And before you get to the intersection, you can see there's an area where they must have had to bail. There's a bunch of neat, like reasonably upright trees that are around here. They've been left unkempt, so there's a bunch of ground cover, and they've kind of grown off in different jagged directions, but this is very much a place that was deliberately like regrown and reseeded.
Okay. Well, it's got to be somewhere around here, right?
You're at an intersection.
Oh, crap. Which way was it? Let's follow... And then Reggie's just going to keep looking. And then he's just going to, like, the right path.
All right. You walk, and you walk, and you walk, and you hit sort of a big looped out end of a trail where there's like a very damp, rotted like pile of wood that there's like rotten cord that's given away and it's kind of fallen kind of loose. Otherwise, nothing here. You turn back and it's starting to get a little shady by the time you're at the intersection again.
Really wish there wasn't all this rot around here.
Is that exactly what you're looking for? The rot?
Well, I'm looking for the Rock King, but none of it leads me to the Rock King. It's just...
Are you sure that giant isn't the Rock King you're looking for?
I don't know. He could be the king. He could be the rotting king. I don't know.
Do you have to fight the Rot King? Do you have to defeat him as part of this whole thing? Or?
I don't know what I have to do. There's just something.
Well, okay. Better get to it then. That's something.
Straight? Left?
Well, we would have come from the left, so straight.
Straight?
Because if I had taken the right path, then that means going back would be the left path where we would have came.
For the sake of orienteering, if you had never taken any of the paths and you now face the same right, straight, left option again, which one do you pick?
Oh. Left?
Left it is.
So from coming down the intersection, you decide on what would have been the left path, which is straight from the direction you're going. You continue past to where they weren't regrowing anymore, they ran out of space. You pass a meadow on the one side of the base of a sort of smaller ridge, and you, from way past the meadow, you can see that there's a big lake kind of pond. It's kind of in that gray area. A large body of water that you wouldn't necessarily call a lake is kind of spread out here. Continues on towards the bog, and it comes from somewhere beyond view.
So, also not here.
How dark is it outside?
It's now starting to get to like a deep, warm, like ambers, pinks, and blues kind of darkness.
Okay. Well, it's still like some sun. Alright, it was the straight path then that we should have gone down.
Well, do we want to bother, or do we want to just try and see what we can get?
Up to you, Turtle Man. I'm sure there's some trees around here that wouldn't be too bad to sleep under.
Wish I had my axe. Could have at least chop one down. Yeah, I guess it would probably be alright to settle down here. Since I already did the making supplies, would I be able to roll henge again to try and get like cover of some sort? Like if I were to be by a tree, just be like, hey tree, can you grow your roots and just, or can you grow this branch?
Yeah, you can do that.
Kind of. Okay. Fuck, that's a 4.
All right, you look around and the trees, they're large and they're steady and they're pines and they kind of just sway in the wind. There's a bit of an opening at their base before the branches start, and around there it's all just kind of like, there's very few sticks, it's all just kind of pine needles. It's a place where you could make a bed, but shelter you might not have much luck.
I mean, I guess we can just do this, right? This should work, right, guys?
Yeah, who knows?
You guys are oddly agreeable.
Sal sits down.
I'm not used to people agreeing with me here.
Why not? You seem capable and smart.
You tell that to Henny.
Henny?
Who's Henny?
She's a very bossy person back at base. She's smart, I'll give her that. She is smart.
I believe Salas met Henny when Leland left.
Salas 100% met Henny.
Salas thought to kill Henny the first time they met.
Yeah, I didn't like Henny too much.
Yeah, she sounds like a real asshole.
Wait, you met Henny?
Yeah. Of course I did.
What do you mean, of course you did?
I was with the group before you were.
Then why aren't you with the group now? Who? Sorry. I didn't catch her name.
You see a bird fly through the open sky above the meadow.
Sorry, I didn't catch her name. What was it?
Salas is distracted by the bird. He's like, oh my god.
It's pretty, isn't it?
I hate birds.
Oh.
You reach for your hip where there's nothing, and you look over at where Twig's got that fashioned, like, leaf thing, and you see that there's, like, bendy reeds that have been knotted together for a makeshift rope that's already kind of failing. You're kind of like,
I briefly think, should I take it? He seemed pretty sensitive about his genitals earlier.
Look, I'm a late bloomer, okay?
Bird's gone anyhow.
Okay.
Nobody believes it, but I am 22.
I find that hard to believe. Anyway,
Well,
what did you say your name was?
Salas.
As in Vestas Salas.
Well, yeah.
But you died.
Yeah, I guess so.
But then you're here.
The divot in your head kind of itches for a second, and you just tap the divot for a second.
Are you here?
Yeah, I think so.
I punched Salas.
I grapple.
It's real. Uncle.
Okay.
You got a strong grip, mister.
Yeah. Training all the time.
Reggie's just genuinely like going like, but I don't. How can you be?
Is the turtle real? And I raise a fist and start approaching Reginald.
Don't you even try, Twig. I will snap you.
Can I roll Grace to give a quick poke before he can get it in? Before he can stop me?
Yeah, go for it.
So you guys got to do opposing checks.
That is a 17.
All right, you quickly go, bah, and you hit Reggie right in the gut, and you accidentally break a nail on his shell. Reggie, you feel nothing.
Real enough?
Oh, that was my good hand. I'm sucking my sore finger.
I told you I would break you.
I tell you that.
Well,
The sun still hasn't set, but it's in the middle of doing that as the moon's already starting to rise, and you can see it over sort of the last bit of light in the sky. There's a bright star that starts to emerge, and then another one.
Well, Mr. Salas, can you make a fire, maybe?
Well-
I'd like to cook this frog before I eat it.
Yeah, I easily light a fire for you.
Yeah, you quickly scrabble some of the few branches together, you get some pine needles, and you hold a bit of elemental magic, you just whoosh it to life.
I hold, the frog is still stabbed into my stick, so I just hold the stick over the fire until the frog is, hot, and I start crunching.
Not
He's
even
munching
cooked,
and
just
crunching.
hot.
I don't know much about cooking. Yeah, I cook a little bit.
Alright, so you hold it over the fire, and you don't smell it, and you give it a poke, and it still feels kind of soft. It's not crispy or anything, and you hold it longer. You poke it again, it's not soft or crispy or anything. You gonna stick it in longer, or are you gonna give it a go?
I'll take a bite. Break off a little leg and give it a nibble.
Okay, you go to break off a little leg, and you like pull at this thing, and it like resists, like it's still not cooked through.
I don't.
It feels like it's been hours when you finally pull it back, and it's kind of sizzling a bit. It's changed color. It's a bit crispy.
I eat it.
How?
With my teeth.
What part?
The leg. I slip all the meat off the bone and spit him out.
Alright, so you go in and you like, and you chew through and eat unseasoned frog and you're barely fed and you've ate one of the 2 legs.
Anyone else want some frog?
No, thanks. I'm
More for me. And I start in on the other leg.
You do the same, and as you do that, and you sort of pull to try and get at it, you get the last bit of meat off right as you accidentally pull this thing, and there's a bunch of like really hot, steamy like organs that kind of pool out of the middle bit of the frog, and there's no meat left.
I fling it into the forest.
You throw it, and you hear it crunch as it goes plack against like a pine tree, and then poof into the pine leaves.
Graphic.
I give a toothy grin.
I mean, that's gonna rot. Yeah, alright. Well,
Silas is gonna look for a stick, like a pointy stick that he can use as like a defense.
Takes you some time, but you manage to find one that you can sharpen if you can find a sharp enough rock. You eventually find one. It takes ages, but you're kind of like whack, 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 trying to like you move between like napping and grinding and rubbing to try and get this thing sharp, and it takes ages. The night gets longer and longer, and you guys grow more and more tired, just kind of hanging around, trying to curl up on some pine leaves, smacking bugs that climb onto you.
I guess I'll take first watch.
Sounds good.
Alright. Still not sure if any of you are actually real.
Well, Silas is gonna sit up because he has insomnia. So.
Yeah, both of you guys kind of just sit there. And the night gets dark, and you hear twig nod off.
Yep.
And the night gets darker and darker until you can't see shit but the fact that there is sky above with like a sliver of a moon and a bunch of trees and stars, and then the trees and ground are kind of just silhouetted.
And then Reggie's just kind of probably going to nod off.
Silas will stay up and do the next watch.
All right. Silas is awake, and now the darkness has come, and now the cold kind of starts to set in.
I don't have any clothes.
All of you reawaken. You're cold.
Yeah, we should really
Wait,
get
we
that
still have a
started.
fire going, don't we?
By now it's burnt out. You've burned all the wood that was nearby.
Ah, dang.
I
Well,
could go try to find some more wood.
that was fun while it lasted. Yeah, we should probably go find some more wood. Sure as hell not
Okay.
going to stumble across like a full set of clothes or anything to keep us warm.
It's the middle of the night. It's dark. By sort of witch light, you scramble some more sticks together. You light them again, and you go back to bed. Sal's watch ends. Twigs up. It's dark. You can't see shit. And close to where your last camp was, you hear something kind of chewing. You're not too far away from it, and then it You hear it scamper off into the darkness.
Because, again, I'm growling at it.
That hastens its scrambling. Your watch is over and it's still dark.
And Reggie will wake up for the last watch. Because he also has insomnia.
You wake up for your old man pee. Twig goes back to bed and you return to where there's kind of a low fire. About halfway through your watch it burns out, but by then you can kind of see a little bit. You get a little bit of those pre-dawn, like that haze. And then dawn comes and you start to see color again. And then things start getting bright again.
Okay.
In the area where your old camp was, you see that the frog has been, like, chewed into by something else.
Nice.
Well, at least something got a meal out of it.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a meal out of it.
Sure.
You say, like, percussed by a grump in your gut. All of you are hungry again. I imagine Salus continues to be hungry, because I don't think Salus ate.
Yeah. Salus needs to eat like a big meal.
Time to find more frogs.
The fun part of being Salus.
Goodness.
So, what are we going to do today? You have 9 more days of this, right? 8 more now.
8 more.
8 more.
You want to find another big worm to talk to, or...
You're at a cluster of pine trees at the end of a logging trail near a meadow, and you can see that there's a little sort of mid-sized lake pond thing over to the side.
Okay. I mean, am I still covered in mud from the night before, or did the rain actually do its thing?
The rain would have helped somewhat, but you would have ended up having to kind of like rub some of it off. There's still kind of a graininess all over you.
I'll probably take a brisk morning bath. The whole becoming one with nature thing is proving to be a lot of I just go to places and get covered in dirt. Or blood, as it turned out.
You make your way over to the lake and you dunk yourself in. You get a bunch of water off of you. There's some minnows and fish swimming around. They scatter at your presence. You can see that across the way there's another deer that leans down, takes a drink, looks at you, and then scampers off. It's way on the other side. You wouldn't have time to catch up. From here, where you are, having gone in to bathe, the angle changes, and you can see that there's a little set of falls further ahead by a little ridge.
I'm going to the bank to try and do the same thing I did with the frog, but for a fish.
All right, go for it.
Fish are better eaten. Ooh, not a great roll. 12.
All right, you pierce a fish kind of mid-long, and it struggles, and you have to whack it against a nearby rock, but you have a small fish that you could sizzle up.
And when Reggie
I'm
sees
thinking...
when Reggie sees that, he's going to go up and just be like, now, let me show you a little trick. And he's going to call out to the fish to come towards him, and just kind of like, he's going to want like the largest one or like multiple to just be like, come into my hand. Just come into my hand.
All right, roll Grove.
Fuck. It's a bad roll.
Not so good.
That's a 7.
So you lean down, and you had a nice full meal yesterday. And Salus should eat, but this wouldn't even be remotely enough for Salus. You just get kind of a mid-sized fish that you could probably pass to Twig.
I'm going to put the smaller fish into the water in hopes that a larger fish will come and try to eat it, and then I'll spear that fish.
The little fish swims away.
Oh, he's not dead? I smacked him against the rock. He was totally dead.
Oh, the fish you killed.
Yeah.
Well, you plump a dead fish in the water. You wait. And sure enough, there's a big catfish that looms up and starts to kind of just nearby, and you got it. Nice thick catfish that you could pan fry if you had a pan or butter or reliable source of fire.
Anything at all.
All right, I have the catfish speared through my stick, and I'm holding my stick over my shoulder as I go find a sharp rock to cut this thing open and gut it, because catfish are disgusting creatures.
All right, you wander and then you step on a bit of flint, and curse, and take it out, and it's a little arrowhead. But it's firm enough and it's sharp, and so you're able to cut and gut this catfish as best you can in the environment. There's no table or anything.
Hey, Mr. Salas, you want some catfish?
Yeah, sure.
Well, I am going to need you to make a fire, so...
Okay, I can start getting a fire going.
You move around the area. By now it's like mid-morning, closer to noon, when you've gathered enough sticks for another cooking fire. You get a nice big rock to sizzle this fish on, and then lay it flat over top and give it a bit of time. By the time it's done, it's unevenly cooked. There's areas that are charred to shit, but this is the best you're going to get under the circumstances, and you have a nice thick catfish that you kind of just... And that should keep you good for the entire proving.
Nice.
I did take a tiny little chunk of catfish as my dinner too, and I spit out the bones and say, cooked to perfection.
I would have given you the smaller fish that I fished up. So
then I'll eat that fish.
Yeah.
Good old dinner of that fish and catfish, eh?
So now you're on the later half of noon.
So, where's the next big worm?
Next big worm. Next big giant with a crown on it.
Well, I don't really know where that is. I mean, the first time I found it, I just kind of wandered.
Maybe that's what we should be doing then.
I mean, maybe? And Reggie's just kind of takes out pipe and swamp grass and is just rinse and repeat.
All right, you go a little lighter this time and get back to where you were. And you're cheery, you're relaxed, you feel the wind on your skin nice and tingly. You're all right. You make your way back up the logging trail and you're at that intersection again.
Just kind of, well, let's go straight. Let's go the road we didn't travel.
All right, let's do it.
All right. You continue a little while. You see the meadow to one side, a whole bunch of regrown. It's almost eerie as you walk past, and you can see the trees all planted in little rows. It's almost like a cornfield, but you can see the areas where little branches and offshoots haven't been trimmed in ages, and they've grown into proper trees, kind of interweaving the thing. You make your way to another intersection that, based on your understanding of the geography, probably leads to the base of the little falls you saw before. There's a higher, smaller, ponder-sized pool a little ahead as you reach a big fallen over forestry tower. There's a whole bunch of really old, cracked planks and stuff. The timbers have snapped. And you can see that there's a little skeletonized hand, sort of old, grayed, and weathered, kind of sticking out from the base. And nearby, there's a little woodcutter's axe. All around the area, around the hand itself, you can see that the dirt is rich. There's all kinds of little shoots stuff that have made their way out, and from there you can see it's starting to overtake a lot of the structure. There's actually, as you approach this area and you see the hand and the axe, there's a couple of little chipmunks and squirrels and things that scatter from eating the nearby leaves and brush and stuff.
I grab the axe.
You lean down and you grab it. It's old and it's rickety. You kind of give it a good thunk, try to... It'll do. It's been out in the rain, but it's a rusty axe. If you hit something, it'll hurt.
All right, perfect.
So instead of that nice slashing, it does a good blunt damage. Nice impact.
So Salus now has a rusty axe and a sharpened stick.
Bonus tetanus damage.
1d6 tetanus. I was like, well, I'm glad you're taking it, because I don't think I'm allowed to take it. I don't know the rules here. This is weird. This is like one of those weird gray areas where, like, one proving will do it one way, one proving will do it another way, and yeah, I don't know.
We're in the wilderness. There are no rules, baby.
Yeah.
That is not the point.
What is the point? Because so far it seems like you just kind of came out here to mope.
Well, that's a good question. Reggie's sitting there. Reggie's kind of introspective after having a bit of the swamp grass for the second time. There's that question. What is the point? Did Reggie just come out here to mope? What's Reggie feeling right now?
I would say that Reggie is really wondering why he came out here. Genuinely, no idea why he's out here now. Like, it's one of those things of just like, yeah, do the proving. I got this. And then there's the other aspect that now that he's out here, he's just like, why the fuck did I come out here? There was no need for me to come out here. There's this whole thing with the Rock King and everything like that, but I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not an investigator. I'm a military man, for fuck's sake. Like,
you look around the area and you can see that this area that was probably cleared out, sake of the forestry tower, things have already started regrowing. Like, the clear cutting was for nothing. The areas that were neglected have started growing back in sort of offshooted, stunted ways, whereas the ones that were left sort of just continuing to grow have all sort of done well enough. You see that the forestry tower has crumbled. In addition to the one arm sticking out from underneath, you can see that in a hollow section, it looks really sort of scampered and clustered together, like some animals have made some nests in here. It's not worth human habitation, not that you could even fit in there. Twig could. Salus could constrict to fit in there. Reggie sure as shit couldn't. There's just this old regrown logging trail near an abandoned warehouse in a section of thick overgrown forest that started to swallow it all. And that's where we'll leave it out and pick it up next time. See how things go a few more days into Reggie's sort of self-imposed proving. You guys can check us out at twitch.tv/Mr. Croton on the later half of Thursdays. Or on Thursdays, the later half of 7 p.m. usually. Although we've been getting better. We've been getting closer to the start of 7 p.m.
Yeah, it's weird. You have a lot less places to go and things to set up and stuff to do in quarantine.
It is also the later half of Thursdays.
It is the later half of Thursdays. That is also accurate.
Yeah.
We're at youtube.com/Mr. Croton, and the rules are at bloodwine.fandom.com. Anything big coming up?
I'm gonna try and finish Dragon Age Origins on Saturday. My big plan is that I finish Dragon Age Origins on Saturday because I don't know how long the end game is going to take me, or if it's even possible because the game loves to fucking crash. Oh my god, I was so pissed off about that.
Denerim.
Curse you, Denerim. So yeah, I'm gonna try and finish up Dragon Age Origins on Saturday, because that's when I'll have the most time to do it, and then hopefully I'll be starting fresh on Monday with, well, yeah, here's hoping I start fresh on Monday with the new game, because I really don't want to be like doing this Dragon Age Origin on Saturday and then Monday it's also Dragon Age Origins.
It's quarantine. We're all inside. The days are blending together. Time happens.
Dragon Age Origins, more like Dragon Age Borigins, am I right?
Oh.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Sorry.